What's happening, everybody? Angel of the Winds Arena presents live. This is out of the arena since we can't actually be in the arena right now. Joe Tafoya, former defensive end, Seattle Seahawks. T. Holler, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for asking. Hillby,
Good to
got some
see you.
dogs in the house?
My brother Joe, what's going on?
Yeah, that's a nice picture in the background, my friend.
Oh, appreciate it. We had some
Yeah.
good artists too that drew this one. That's a good old Seahawk training pictures back in the good old '98 year.
98? Woo, that's it off.
Dating myself.
Lofa Tatupu, the one and only. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
98, man. I think it was my semi-formal. Right on.
Yeah. Who did you take? Right on. Today's episode is brought to you by Elysian Brewing Company. T. Holler, you drink beer?
Yes, I do from time to time, and when I do, guess what it is? Elysian.
By far and away my favorite beer made by Elysian. Brewed in 2012. They came up with the name because it was leftover galaxy hop dust thrown into the brew, spontaneously creating race dust. Lofa, what are you doing? Look, need some paper.
That was my dust bay. That was my dust bay.
Space Galaxy Hot Dust.
Yeah.
What else do they make, T. Holler?
Oh, they make this new concoction here called Contact Haze. It's in the orange can. It is incredible. That's what I'm indulging in tonight. Can you see that? Contact.
Yeah, I need my contacts. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Contact A's. It's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's right. It's what's happening. It's really good, man. It's very good. It's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit lighter than the space dust, but it's still got some bite to it. Got a little fruity.
I hear they deliver beer. Is that true?
Yeah, right now they are actually delivering food too. So they got, and they're doing a good donation too as well. They're donating $5 off of every order. So, man, if you're looking for some brew, you're looking for some snacks, they even got fresh produce. So hit them up. Hit up Elysian, man, and they'll take care of you if you're in Seattle and on the east side. Right
on. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Elysian. So the environment's changed, man. We're starting to get used to doing all these Skype and Zoom calls and at least I get to see my boys. I mean, you don't get to see anybody face to face anymore. You sure don't get to go to the NFL draft. It was all planned out for Las Vegas. They're up their first year. They were up and live. And then all of a sudden the world changes. What was your biggest takeaway from this year's draft?
I'll start it off, Joe, and I'll tell you this. I think we should all. That's what I've been trying to do through this entire COVID-19 pandemic. I've been trying to take the silver lining off of everything, the bright side of everything. And I just want to say the 2020 draft is the first of its kind. We got to experience it in our lifetime, the one and only time that they did a virtual draft. We got to see Roger Goodell in his house, kick back with his house shoes on. I thought we might see him before it was all over, I thought we might see him in his boxers and a smoking jacket or something. You see the way he was kicked back and relaxed by the end, right? He was like, at first he was up in his suit and like, this first draft. And then at the end he was like,
but yeah, changed outfits like 10 times per day, didn't he?
That's what he said. So, he went from stiff Roger to like, man, I might kick back with a cocktail Roger. But it was good, man. It was an exciting time to watch these young men get a chance to change their lives. You guys obviously know what that's like, having an opportunity to change your life. People want to say it's an instance, but it was a lifetime of work that led up to that instant. And watching those guys' lives change every time, it's something special.
Boy, it sure was exciting. There was some interesting moments that happened during this year's draft because there's cameras in places where normally they wouldn't be, right? I mean, we saw Andy Reid's junk room. Lofa, what was your favorite moment?
I mean, well, I would say it's good to be king, and by that I mean Kingsbury. Did you see that house?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he was taking a nap or suntanning through those giant windows. Good for him. I mean, that was my biggest takeaway. But other than that, I thought the Hawks did really well. So, kudos to them. I mean, we always do in the draft. So excited about that.
That's exciting. We're going to get to that in a minute. Hey, Loaf.
That living room, by the way, Lofa, that living room, it looked like somebody had just driven a new Bugatti off the floor, right? Like that looked like a showroom. It was. I was jealous. I was hating a little bit.
You didn't grow up like that?
No,
Very
not
little
even a little
furniture.
bit.
Almost reminded me of Boiler Room, the movie Boiler Room.
Yeah.
Hilby, did you participate in a draft?
This year?
Were you
or coming out? No. I actually was undrafted coming to the Seahawks. It was kind of sucked from a good Husky team. We kind of got blackballed my senior year, and really the only person that got drafted out of that Husky team, which was one of the most winningest Husky classes, was Pete Pearson that went late in the round. But you had other guys like DeMarco Farr, Jamal Fontaine, myself, a couple other guys that didn't get drafted. But, those three names that I just named, we still got Super Bowl rings. So it really doesn't really matter to me about really where you get drafted. Is what you do out there. And, it was fun to watch the guys this year. It was kind of good to watch even a perspective from seeing the coaches and the staff and seeing their families with them. I think it was real cool. Something that you'll probably never get a chance to see, something that their families will probably never get to relive again. But yeah, it was kind of cool.
Speak the truth. You know what? Every time I talk to you, you talk about your Super Bowl ring.
I'm surprised I didn't bring it out, for today.
It's gonna make an appearance before the show, so
I might have to go get it. It's upstairs in the trophy case, though.
Now, I waited a full 7 rounds to get drafted, so I got a chance to watch a lot of guys get kicked off the board, and guys that I had prepared in the draft with, in the combine with. I went to the Senior Bowl with a lot of these guys, and in my heart and in my mind, I'm watching him go off, and I'm thinking, man, I'm better than that guy. Why'd they pick him? What? So the emotional roller coaster that these young guys were on, unless you're on it, most people don't understand what it is. Lofa, you got drafted. What round did you get drafted in?
I was second round, 45th overall, and going into it, everybody was telling me, all the experts had me pegged as a 5th and 6th rounder. So, I think they did me a favor. I set my expectations really low, and when I got taken in the second round, it was just a full out party. In fact, we were in Oceanside, California, and I had no cell service. So I got picked before I actually got the call.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, Holmgren, right? So that first conversation was interesting to say the least. When he said, "Hey, no cell service. You didn't think I'm expecting you to call plays. You didn't think to check for cell service?"
Oh yeah, he was coaching you up already. Huh?
Yeah, it was. I had to tell him I was ready, Coach. I got this.
That's fantastic. Well, let's jump right into the Seahawks draft this year. They had 7 picks going into the draft. I believe they ended up with 8 guys. Correct me.
Yep.
They did a little bit of trading back and forth, but the first pick of the draft. Normally, what happens, T. Holler, is what do they do normally?
Usually, they trade the pick away, and that's the thing about these Seahawks. They usually trade it away. I'll give you my history with the Seahawks is in the John and Pete era. As I tune in on Thursday night every time with my drink ready, my Elysian, I usually have something and some popcorn, right? And I'm ready, excited for the Seahawks first pick, and they never pick anybody. And in the second round, they usually don't pick anybody. They trade it back. I was kind of hyped that they picked somebody in the first round this year. I was surprised. And I think that if anybody that's outside of the organization right now says that they were not surprised with that first pick, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody else. Because I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Now, especially with who they actually selected, Jordan Brooks was not slated to go this high in the draft. There were other guys that ahead of him that everyone suspected that the Seahawks would be taking an edge rusher or trading their draft. Lofa, what did you see in Jordan Brooks that made the Seahawks be interested in this guy?
Well, when I broke down the film, he was a highly coveted prospect in terms of, production, 100 tackles, 20 tackles for a loss. And Chris, we good? Am I in there?
Yeah.
20 tackles for a loss. So 3 sacks. But the 20 tackles for a loss, that's, 1/5 of his tackles were behind the line of scrimmage. So you see value right there right away. And, he can play middle. He can play outside. A lot of, aggression, which we like at linebacker, right? We like that. And so enjoyed watching his highlight film. There's a little more to be desired. I want to see him in pass coverage, but no problem at all. Always love adding a very valuable linebacker.
And he had some speed too, right?
He had good speed, 4.5 speed.
4.5, yeah.
240, 4.5 speed. I mean, and he's got some great guys to learn from in KJ and Bobby. I mean, you couldn't really. We went into this draft not having to draft for need. So when you get best available, you're really. It's exciting that we were able to get this guy.
That's interesting that you say we didn't draft for need, because most people would say that they needed an edge rusher.
Well, we got that in the second round, and we also got a value pick in the fifth round with Robinson. So we got Taylor in the second round, who they say is in the mold of a Frank Clark, Cliff Averill. We'll
some
see.
Good names.
Chris Clemens. Yeah, time will determine, right? But
right.
We got Frank Clark in the second round, so we'll see. And then that fifth round, it's been good to us over the years. Cam Chancellor, rings a bell. Sherman, Quentin Jefferson, who just got paid, some good money to go over to Buffalo. And he played the end. He got hurt, came back, and then so also, we got to think about the first round pick that didn't really play as much last year in Collier. I'm excited about what we have going on in front.
Yeah. So he'll be. The game has changed. I mean, now you're picking linebackers with that kind of speed, and you're having to. Some of these guys are having to focus on the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback is changing the game too. I mean, think about a guy like Lamar Jackson, and you have a speedy linebacker. Do we think that we're going to be using this guy in scenarios where he's going to be keyed on the quarterback?
Yeah. Go ahead. You got it.
We'll and get into what you were saying, Joe. The game has changed. The speed, and man, I wish before I had broken my toes and thought I needed to beef up. I was a 4.3 linebacker myself.
4.3?
At 4.3. T. Holla tell you, I was 4.3, and that was AccuTrack too. So I broke 4 toes my junior year, and then slowed me down to 4.5 to 4.6 area. So I wish I could have played in today's game where that would have been more valuable. But, just like you got speedsters like Lamar Jackson on offense, you also got the speedsters on defense. And everyone is trying to match up and get faster. And everything is about getting faster with the game. And so with our defense, we don't really like to have to, sub in and sub out. You put another guy like this and be able to have a base package with 3 fast, powerful linebackers that can cover everybody and still control the run game. I think it's just going to be a good addition for the team.
Oh, that's great. And T. Holler, you mentioned earlier that you have some faith in what this organization's been doing over the last couple of years, just building up this program in the way that they've done. Talk a little bit about what you think the mentality of Pete Carroll was going into this draft.
I think, they still really want to get the pieces that they know they need to win right now. I think they have a good squad right now. I think they can go out and win with the squad that they have right now. They know that they've been competitive over the last half a decade with the guy that they have in the locker room right now. So I think what they're trying to do is continue to build on that and, again, build for the future. And this is what I wanted to ask you guys, the guys that have been in that locker room, guys that know, the ins and outs, the inner workings of a squad like this, especially Lofa. You've been in the coaching staff with Coach Carroll. You bring in a guy like Jordan Brooks in the first round. You use that equity to get that guy and bring him in. Is it somebody that you want to put into the roster right now because you spent that first round pick on him? Or is he somebody that you can see? And this is what I think that they were doing. You're looking out in the horizon and saying, we have Bobby Wagner, who is an all-pro. He's a future Hall of Famer. But he's looking at 30, right? And we know the National Football League, you hit that age of 30 and things start kind of going sideways for you, right? We look at KJ Wright. He already hit that 30 mark. Are we looking at training up the future, or are we looking at putting Jordan Brooks in the mix right away?
Honestly, I spent 2 years. That's a great, question. I spent 2 years coaching there, and even when I was on the inside, I was still on the outside. I didn't I thought we were going to take Jaron Reed in the first round, and we ended up getting him later in the second. what I really find us doing right here with this pick, the best of the best is only going to create more competition, right? And that's going to bring out the best of everybody. So it's great for him to come in and push, but what he resembles to me in watching the film is what Michael Kendricks did for us. And Kendricks is coming off an ACL. Now, is it as simple as plugging him in and going away with KJ, him? Hey, this kid still has to beat out Cody Barton. And, Barton, they both played well, especially down the stretch. Barton had some great, especially in the Philly playoff game. So, and, one thing I know about inside that locker room is everything's earned. You have to earn that. First round, that's great, but they will sit you. I mean, take it back to 2012 when Russ was picked in the 3rd round. All right, Matt Flynn was paid to come here and be the quarterback. It was open competition. Russ won it. The rest is history. So that's what I do enjoy about it. That's been the philosophy the whole way through is best man for the spot. And so I don't think we're not in a position where we have to rely. And this is where it gives Jordan a little breath of fresh air. I know from everything I've heard, he's very competitive, so it's great. But we're not banking on him to start. We don't have to. We finished the playoffs with the 3 guys that are still there. And KJ, of course, him and Bobby over 30, but KJ did just come off a career year. So in terms of numbers, and that's something to think about. It's right. It's incredible. So.
Yeah. By the way, I wish I was 30.
My God, man.
I'm the furthest away from it, so I definitely wish I was.
I don't want to hear any more out of you, HB. You ran a 4.5 with 4 broken toes.
Well, I was 4.3 before that, so I don't know. Now, I wish I could get back to those days.
Oh, my goodness. Keep riding that bike, my friend. Stay healthy. Yeah, now we're talking about the draft right now. Everybody's excited about the draft because it's a break from what's happening in our current environment. We all got a chance to watch a little bit of sports, some football, some highlights and stuff. But there were a lot of other things happening in the background as well. The Seahawks made some moves early on, and they didn't make some moves. Specifically, we're talking about Jadeveon Clowney, but they also released 2 key offensive linemen, and I just don't understand this thought process. We had a question come in earlier, and the question was, what's the thought process here? I'll start with you, T. Holler. What do you think?
I'm kind of lost in the sauce on that one too. Only thing I can imagine is that I was pretty sure if Eddie was going to be gone. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe trying to get younger at that position. Some of the guys are getting a little older. I thought Justin Britt was really the heart and soul and the anchor of that offensive line. He has really stepped his game up over the past 3 years to, I think he's one of the better centers, if not in this division, if in the National Football League. So that one was a head scratcher for me. So I don't know. I don't know what their answer is going forward for the 2020 season in that position. All I can see is they're trying to free up some cap space to give some other guys some money and get some other guys to fill in.
Hard to understand, man. Anybody else? What did you think? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lof.
No, you got it, HB.
I was just going to say that's exactly what I thought, was just kind of freeing up some cap space. And then with this draft that they got, the Damian Lewis from LSU, he could play center. He's playing guard, center, and he's a tough, good. I like Britt. I like, Joey also. But I think that, that's what exactly it is freeing up some cap space. We still don't know what's going on with Clowney. Answer, I don't even think it's still signed, so there's still some other guys out there. But you got these young guys, you're making moves that way, and still it just comes down to in Pete and John you trust.
Did we bring a potty back? I don't remember.
He is back.
He's back.
Yes. He's back.
We have some depth there. I mean, you can't bring a young guy in and start him off at center. It's just the key position. It's just one of the hardest positions to play.
That's what I was thinking of you guys that played linebacker, especially a middle linebacker. You see a rookie, a guy that was just in college last year, stepping in and trying to play day one at center. I mean, that's like you licking your chops, man.
Yeah, we're running games all on that guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have some leadership along the offensive line. A little bit later, we're going to bring in one of my favorite former Seahawks. His name's Wayne Hunter. He'll help us understand that what's going on along the offensive line a little bit better. But let's go back to the draft then. So with the very next pick, which was in which round were we in? Sorry, I lost my notes here.
Pick one.
Pick one.
We talked about Brooks.
We got Brooks.
Let's go on to
talked about Daryl Taylor.
Number 48. Pick number 48, Daryl Taylor, defensive end, Tennessee. Who has the notes?
Coach Tatupu.
Oh, I mean, I can talk about him. And they, like I said earlier, it was from everything I've read and heard, it's another guy in the mold of Frank Clark, Chris Clemens, a guy who can really get after the pass rusher. And so, that excites you, right? And I mean, he's 267, 6'4", 267, so he's not a small guy. And what I saw on film was a quick, athletic, nimble guy. It didn't seem like a 270-pounder almost. So, he can play both the run and the pass. But from everything I understand, they're excited about him, getting in there on the rotation. We got other guys too. That's what I'm excited about in the free agency, bringing back Irvin and Mayala.
Bruce Irvin came back. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's between those two, I think it was another 15 or 16 sacks last year. You love adding that, depth and experience. And then they know the system, they know the organization and how we operate over here because they were both on that Super Bowl team, if I'm correct. Yeah, they both,
that's right,
on that banner. So that Rasheem, he's got another year experience. I'm still excited about Collier. I want to see what he does. But you get excited when a guy like Taylor somehow is still there at 48th pick. 6'4", 270. You can't teach that with speed.
I was watching an interview with Bruce Irvin, and I thought one of the interesting points that he made was that he feels like he's grown up. You come here, you're a rookie, you're a young guy, you're fitting in the locker room, and then boom, you get a Super Bowl. You go off to another team. You realize what it's like on another team in another organization. It's not quite the same. The environment, the losing culture, and then you come back to the Seahawks. You're grown up.
Well, I don't think he ever took it for granted. But what a lot of people don't understand is before Bruce didn't play in high school. All right, like think about that.
I don't understand.
A guy that's putting up 6 to 8 sacks on average a year did not play in high school. He played 1 year his freshman year, and he played a cornerback. All right. Then he went to Mount Sac in California, and he played safety. All right. And then he went to West Virginia on a scholarship, and they moved him to linebacker. And then he was so productive rushing the passer that they moved him to DN. So if you think about that, when he came to the league in 12 as a first-round pick, it was his first true year of defensive end, second maybe. And so think about that and how much better 10,000 hours, right, or 10,000 reps is what they say to become a expert at what you do. I mean, is he even there yet? It's close. It's close.
I feel like we're catching him in his prime. I mean, that's why they weren't so excited to bring Jadeveon Clowney back. This guy's in the open market. We bring him home. You never know. Yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, that's one thing that I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing that always stood out to me. How little football he actually played prior to the NFL. Maybe 2 years, a year and a half. It's incredible. So,
and I would imagine there's some, and when you're talking about being a grown up now in the National Football League, I would imagine when you first get into the league, and you guys tell me because you guys have been there. When you first get in, you're fresh out of college. Your mind is probably thinking on a different level than you were 5 years into your career. You probably could still, get up on Tuesday morning after hanging out till 2 a.m. on Mondays. And now at 5 years into the game, you're learning how to take care of your body. You're learning how to get into your playbook. You're learning how to, study the film and get deeper and becoming a professional, a grown up. So
that's right. That's right. Now, that was an incredible team that we had. That 2012, 2013 roster. There's so many. I mean, I honestly never thought we would see Richard Sherman get back to the peak of his game the way that he did, but my goodness, Earl Thomas is still doing it. I mean, if Cam was healthy, he'd still be doing it. Cliff, all these guys that are out there that have come from this organization have gone out into the league and made a second career for themselves that's been equally as valuable as the one they had here. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on in our current environment right now with this coronavirus. And we've got, I mean, that's all anybody's talking about. Everything is coronavirus. What are you guys doing right now to keep yourself healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically? What does a former group of high-profile athletes do right now? Hillary,
You lost me when you said high profile.
Well, for me, I'll just say for me, it's been still kind of a lot of work because I'm in basically the essentials industry. So, it's just been a little bit, I should say a lot more homework and working from home with the family and everything. But that's kind of what it's been for me. It has been a blessing, though. I will say, one thing it's brought a lot more family time, I think, for me as well. And, my daughter, is a good example of this, who was a senior at St. Martin's University, getting ready to graduate. That she had just, broke the NCAA or the college record for most rebounds in the game. And here it is. They end up having to leave school their senior year, so now she's back. It's still kind of been a blessing for me having my oldest daughter around, and she's around with the youngest guys and the younger two, and it's just really just been a lot of family and stuff that we go on bike rides. I mean, we got the whole family on bike rides now. It's crazy. We go walking and do stuff just to get a little bit of time out of the house, and that's one thing that I say it has brought. On a good aspect of making a positive out of a negative situation.
Lof, I know you're deep with your company. You got the Zone In brand. Let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing during the downtime.
I mean, I've gotten better.
That's amazing.
It's perspective, right? Tell me that every pro athlete didn't go through adversity to make it to where they were. I mean, we all got stories, and that's really what it comes down to, is that, tough times don't last, tough people do. And, I've just been attacking it with the right mindset that I'm blessed, man. I'm thankful for all the people on the front lines, the first, in healthcare and, taking care of everybody that needs, help right now. And just grateful, like HB said, for the time with my kids. I mean, I'm not going to get my two boys are 9 and 5, and I'm not going to get this time back. And my 9-year-old is actually, he's like the one that set up the Zoom and all these other, Skype chats. So I'm grateful. I'm learning on, as is,
I saw them today, by the way. They came over and picked up some chickens from my farm.
They did, and thank you, because that made their day. And so,
awesome.
You know what I'm saying? They're over here. They're hanging out with the little chickens. I've never seen a little chicken up close. Right. So it's all these new experiences that you can't take for granted. And
yeah.
So just very grateful, and looking at it with the right perspective, and yes, I actually, the workouts have gotten better. Shout out to Zone In CBD, my company.
Zone In CBD.
But the workouts have gotten better because I'm not wasting gas. I do miss my crew at 24 Hour Fitness. That's why I miss you guys. But they've kept me honest. They're texting with me, and I'm not losing an hour in commuting to the gym, 15, 20 minutes and 15, 20 minutes back. So, you find a way to get more efficient, and, I'm still excited to go back to play hoops. I'm not going to lie.
That's big.
But just, you take the good with the bad. You got to be grateful for what you have. And, no complaints here, man. I'm blessed.
T. Holler.
Well, it's been different, but again, I'm right in line with everybody else. Looking at the silver lining that we have on this dark cloud here that we call COVID-19. I've been working on getting myself back in fighting shape for the past year and a half. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes, when you get done playing, you let yourself go, right? And it just so happened, I spent like 15 years gone. So, it happens. It happens. So, but I've spent like a year and a half, in the gym at LA Fitness. And I became a creature of habit. You know how we have to get into a routine, right? And so I fell into that routine, and I got scared that I was going to fall out of that routine. So this is what I do 4 times a week. I get in my car and I drive to the LA Fitness to the empty parking lot, and I park my car and I go in they have trails behind the gym. So now I'm hiking every day. So I go and I hike. That's my exercise now. So it's me getting out of my house and going through my same routine, and going back and getting my workout in. But now I'm on the trail, and I'm just getting a chance to see parts of the Pacific Northwest that I never knew was there, and it's been there since I've been here this whole time. So that's one of my silver linings.
Have you been working on your barbershop program at all?
You know what? We have not done any programs. We've had some live stuff like this on Zoom and on live Facebook Live with myself and Marcus Trufant, one of your fellow alumni from the Seahawks. So we've done some stuff there. I've done some stuff for Q13 via this here at interwebs, Q13 and King 5 as well. So I'm staying involved in the media, but the majority of the time on this computer, I'm doing second grade and second grade reading projects. So I'm becoming very proficient in second grade.
Hey, but good on you, man. You know, just like you said, creatures of habits. We're either practicing good habits or practicing bad habits, but your routine and staying true to that, you know, even just driving over there. I mean, that's incredible, man. I'm happy for you, proud of you, man. That's what's up, because before, like 4 years ago, I was like 280 pounds. So I could relate. And I played at 235. Joe knows. Yeah.
I'll definitely win that career.
You came out of it, though. You came out of it, and you came out better and stronger. And look at you now.
Yeah, keep that up, T. Holler. Good job.
Yeah, you too, Hill B. Don't act like you're not in the same boat, man.
Well, of course, yeah, because when I get done, when I got done, I wanted to get big, because growing up, and that's real talk, though. Growing up, I'm gonna tell a story. Growing up, out of San Francisco, born and raised in San Francisco, Fillmore District, and my grandfather was about 300, 350 pounds. They called him Big Man. And he, you know, as a young age, he would always say, yeah, boy, you know, when you get older, you know, your true sign of success is how big you let your belly get. So that's what I grew up on. That's what I grew up thinking. Man, I can't wait till I get done playing football. I get to get big and then show how successful I am. And so when I got done playing ball, I blew up to like 305, almost 315.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, you guys remember? I was huge. And then I had my youngest 2 kids right now. Actually, it was my youngest daughter, who's 3 years old now. So about almost 4. So about 4 years ago, I figured that, hey, if I want to be able to see her at the same age as my oldest daughter, you know, I got to make some life choices and some changes, and just realize that it's the sugar that's kind of blown me up, and I got to cut the sugar out. And then unfortunately, I learned that the animal products and everything that breaks down into sugar. So I just went cold turkey vegan and lost over 100 pounds. Man, my bubble is 205 to 215 pounds. I'm lighter now than when I left high school to go to the University of Washington. But it's just, you know, it's partially exercise, because the exercise is good, but really it's the diet choices, because you can exercise all you want, but if you got a horrible diet, you're not going to lose weight. You're going to get to that rut and, why am I not losing any weight? Well, it's your diet. And we've kind of been raised to think that we need to eat 3 times a day and snack in between. But all that is doing is leading to high blood pressure and all these other diseases and everything that the doctors and everyone else that's benefiting from it is doing.
How likely do you guys think it is that we see a football season happen this year? Yeah, that's
I'm holding out on hope. I'm holding out on hope, man. I really hope that they're, you know, doing what they can right now, that we are doing what we can collectively to flatten this curve, right? To knock this virus out, so that I just can't imagine, you know, a whole entire season without football.
Without sport.
It might be tougher than quarantine. It might be tougher than just sitting here in the house.
I mean, what in the world? What are we going to do? And think about how this affects, like, if you're an Alabama fan and you don't have college football, I mean,
Nebraska
and church.
You can't go to the game.
They're one and the same, right? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna look at the bright side. SC undefeated. Woo! U
of A finally had a winning season.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it's just it's a very real possibility. I mean, you look at all the other sports. I mean, they're talking about playing games with no fans. Could you imagine playing a game with no fans?
No.
It's just another practice.
No, I was thinking about that. When they talked about doing the March Madness with no fans, and I said that if they do this, there are going to be teams that will be unduly kicked out because they'll lose a game because the fan involvement. You know when the game is going, and maybe it's you get late in the game and it's tie game, and the fans are going crazy, and that's when the real competitors come out. You know what I'm saying? And so I can imagine. Can you imagine? Like, it's worse than practice.
I mean, it's
they almost went that way, though. They almost went that way with the Seattle Dragons. Before they closed that down, that last game was supposed to be just the team and the media, but we didn't get a chance to see how it would have gone through. Unfortunately, so it's still just unthinkable to even think of something like that to even be an option for football.
Okay, I'm just asking some fan questions here. We got some fan questions coming in. That was one of them. Another one is Lofa. Can you give a shout out to Jeff Schofield? He's geeking out on the stream.
Yo, Jeff, what up, man? I wish I could see your text and everything, but yo, Jeff Schofield, you a real one. Represent, brother.
He didn't ask me to say hi. Get over yourself, Jeff. All right, T. Holler, this one's for you. What is your favorite beer?
My favorite beer would be Elysian.
A bum.
Yeah, now it's new. The Contact Haze.
Is it Contact Haze?
It's Contact Haze, man. It's a delicious beer with some nice fruity notes in it, man. It has a little
from here.
It's silky and it's smooth. It's it's hoppy, but it's still light. This is a really good beer. Before tonight, it was probably Space Dust. Space Dust is
Dust is the one.
So real quick, I just want to tell you guys. So it was probably at the beginning of the quarantine, right? And I was really feeling the stress of being on lockdown. I have 4 kids, 3 teenage daughters. So I was really
You're blessed.
3. Oh, that's what you want to call it. But anyway, I came home one day and I saw I had some Space Dust in my refrigerator down in my man cave, right? So I sent my boy a picture. I was like, I'm going to have about 3 or 4 of these right now. And I managed to have about 2. I was like,
yeah.
That Space Dust got a little bite to it.
Yeah, it does, man.
It got a little bite.
Got another question that just came in. Hold on one second. Oh, they must have not been watching. They just tuned in right now because we covered this, but we'll talk about it anyway. Where is this year's pass rush coming from?
Yeah, it's non-existent. Not going to happen.
Well, because the season's not going to happen,
right? Because they joined late. You don't get to know. All right, tune in.
You should have been watching earlier.
Hey, I'll go back over it. We got a lot of depth, signing back Irvin and Mayawa, and then we got Rasheem, Taylor, Robinson, and then what we talked about earlier. Maybe these last few releases have come from a necessity for cap space for Jadeveon Clowney. So. We'll see what happens, but either way, I think we're in a very good position on that defensive line.
Okay, I got a really important question now. This one comes from a guy named Wayne Hunter. Let's see if we can get him on live. Wayne, are you there? Can we bring him in? Ricky, help.
Should play some intro music.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Wait, can you hear me?
There's something wrong with it.
Wayne, turn your mic on.
Get your 9-year-old to come in and fix it for you.
Yeah.
Well, I will be the one to introduce Wayne Hunter. Wayne Hunter is a former American football player. I don't know how many years he played. I didn't even pull up his bio. Wayne is the man. He played for the Seahawks, offensive lineman, and he's now a first responder. He's working at the Issaquah Fire and Rescue. We can't hear you, though, Wayne. Where are you? All right, well, once Wayne jumps on, you all are going to be like, what in the world is The Rock doing on with us right now? Doesn't he have something better to do? Okay, sorry, I got one more question.
So he's a Rock lookalike, huh?
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
Awesome lookalike. There he is.
Do me a favor, Wayne, and turn your camera the other way.
All right, turning my camera the other way.
There you
How's
go.
that?
It didn't work.
Is that working?
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
Nice traps, though, bro.
Dude, it just got real wide in here.
I'm
Okay.
about to go put some
All right,
clothes
Hey,
on
we're
right
gonna
now.
get serious. All right, hold up. Let me try and figure this thing out.
Just put it back
How
up.
about if I do that? Would that work? does that doesn't do it? Huh? All right. Hold on. Give me a sec.
You know what? I miss meetings. This makes me miss meetings.
Meetings. You
Is
guys
that
had fun
working?
at meetings?
It's not working.
I'm just talking.
Before they started.
Everybody had
Before the
fun at
meeting
meetings.
started.
Oh man.
Wayne, you joined us at the perfect time, my friend. We were just talking about
Nice.
first responders.
Hey, and it's Seattle Fire Department, not Issaquah. Come on,
Okay.
Joe. Seattle, bro. Come on.
Yo.
I donate to the cause too, man. So what's been going on, Wayne? Tell me a little bit about what it's like on the front lines.
Front lines is good. It's rewarding. I wanted to do something that made me go home feeling good about myself. And I also miss my locker room, which is what I miss the most from football. So I was able to get that back with the fire department and then some. So it's been nothing but good things, man.
You look like you're in incredible shape, man. You look like you're ready to go back out on the field.
I gotta get these cats out them trees.
Wayne, did I hear you were thinking about pursuing a career in acting?
You heard correct, and it is actually still going on. In fact, I got things going on, man. So hopefully things come through. We'll see how it goes.
That's fantastic, man.
It's a shark eat shark world, just like the NFL. But dude, I got high hopes. So I got an agent. We're gonna get involved. I gotta put my name out there and see what happens.
I see you're
Hey,
still
I got a thing you
staying
should
in
do
shape.
for me real quick, though, man. When you get on, tell them to come get me. We could do stunt doubles for The Rock and Kevin Hart. You tell
Rock and Kevin Hart?
I'll be your Kevin Hart, man.
Wayne,
All right, deal. All right, you got it. Deal. All right.
have you been paying attention at all to the ongoings in the NFL with the Seahawks and the upcoming draft, or that draft that just happened?
A little bit. I heard they got some scrutiny up about their first pick, but I got nothing but good things I've heard from that guy. I heard he's going to contribute pretty well. I know nothing about the kid, but someone's got to fill in for Wagner at some point. I mean, Wagner can't play like this the whole time. He's one of the best that's ever played the game, but as we all know, in this circle right here, it's not going to last forever. So I'm not surprised they went this route. I don't know much about the kid, so I'm not really sure what to say about him.
Okay, but did you see some of the moves that they were making with Dwayne Brown getting released and Justin Britt? There was a lot of
I
scrutiny.
did
with
not
that.
hear about Dwayne Brown getting released.
Okay, I've been released a lot of times.
Wait, Dwayne got released?
Me
No,
too.
Dwayne,
I'm sorry, it wasn't Dwayne
I
Brown.
was just like, wait a minute.
Fluker.
no,
Sorry.
it was DJ
Oh,
Fluker.
Fluker, yeah. I heard about Fluker, yeah, but he got picked up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've been released a lot of times, more than I would like to admit. Every time it happens, it's something a little different.
I don't know. I think you're making up pretty good, though.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
I think you're doing all right.
Yeah. Life's pretty good. I'm not killing myself anymore.
Was there one that stood out more than the other?
Yeah, I
No.
was just going to tell my story, man. I was just going to tell my story. I'm with the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm fighting for a spot against a guy named Bertrand Berry, and I've got him beat out. He doesn't do
Bertrand.
any special teams. He doesn't do any practice. The guy is not great in the locker room. I love you, Bertrand, but it's just true.
Well,
Okay.
I tell you what, he was a prick on the field too, so I'll back you up on that. You know I'll back you up all the time.
No, excuse me. Sorry, Larissa.
That's right. If you're
Just roll.
hearing this right now, you were a prick on the field too. I'll tell you that right now.
So, cut day. They wait till the very last moment. I walk into Ken Wisenhunt's office, and he says, "Joe, we're going to let you go. We're going to keep Bert. I think he beat you out." I said, "You know what, Ken? That's a lie. Not only did he not beat me out, but he's not great in the locker room. He's not going to be doing any special teams reps, and he's not going to even practice on scout team. I do all those things. What's going on here?" He said, "Well, management's got me by the balls. They want to keep him, and they don't like you."
You know, I said the same thing.
with that.
I said the same thing
You
about
start with
Walter
that?
Jones when I came in. I said the same thing about Walter Jones, and apparently Walter Jones beat me out. So hey, whatever.
He's a Hall of Famer.
A gold jacket, you know.
That's a different story, right? Hall of Famer beat you out.
Yeah, that's different. He's
That's like a badge of honor, man.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert's doing now. What about you, Loaf? You got any good stories?
Stories?
I mean, Pete Carroll twice.
What's that?
I said you played with Pete Carroll twice.
Yeah.
Got to
You know,
decline that one.
Good stories would be, only losing one game in out of 26 in college. Would you like to hear about those years?
Not really.
No,
I know you guys want to hear about those years.
No.
so
I want to laugh. That's what I wanted.
Anybody
else?
I got nothing at the time.
All right, we got a question coming in right now. Hold on. Who are each of
There you go.
hey, I can talk about how Hillary Butler used to beat me up in practice
Hear about
my
that?
freshman year. No, real quick though, I remember I showed up to my freshman year at the University of Washington, and I'm playing running back, and it was just a freshman camp, right, at first for the first couple of days, and I was balling out. And I remember calling home on like the third day, telling my dad, I'm like, "I'm balling, Dad. I'm doing my thing. They love me. I think I might get a shot." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna come watch you practice." And my dad comes to practice. It's the first day the seniors get there, and he'll be knocking me from the field to the track. I remember like getting scuffed up on the track. Like I started on the grass, and I ended up with my whole body scuffed up on the track. And Hill used to do this laugh. And that's all I heard going away.
My goodness.
That's funny.
Okay. Hill, do you remember
talk
that?
stories? Hey, can I give you a story real quick, Joe?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
All right, so when I got drafted by the Seahawks, so long story short, or long story longer, so I got drafted that day. Oakland passed up on me. People passed up on me. Then the Seahawks picked me up, and I dropped so far down. I was a conceited 21-year-old that thought to myself like, "What the hell, man? Why did I drop so low? I was projected to go first, second round. I dropped to third round. I was really conceited." So then I came in, some of the Seattle Seahawks PR department called me, started interviewing me. And they said, "Hey, they said you're a Walter Jones-like. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?" And I was like, "Walter Jones, huh? Okay, so whoever this Walter Jones is, I'm going to come in and I'm going to give him a run for his money. And I'm going to make him work during training camp and make him earn his spot." So I said that to one of the news guys, and then I came in. Walter Jones did not come to training camp. He held out for the first 3 training camps I was here. And the very first training camp, when we came back to Kirkland, when our facility was in Kirkland, he came in and killed it the first game. And I was like, "All right, yeah, this ain't going to happen. I got to do it." Yeah, this.
You really said that in your interview?
I did. I was just a conceited 21-year-old thinking like I should have been drafted higher, but I should have been thankful at the time. I was not. I was more frustrated. And then I came here and I got a big slice of humble pie really quick by Big Walt. So, yeah.
That was cool.
Okay. I got 2 more questions, and then we will end it with 1 more question. So 3.
That's
All right.
what is that's me doing my second
That's
grade
what
math
happens.
again.
That's what happens when you got a D-line in front of you.
You have 1 domino. All right. Personal hero. NFL person or hero. That's easy. That's an easy one.
Who you got?
Mosi Tatupu. What are you talking about?
Nice. That's a
Mosi
good one.
Tatupu is everyone's personal. If you guys say anything other than Mosi Tatupu, I'm deleting you from this conversation.
I was going with
maybe from my life. All right. Breakout player from the NFL draft.
Ooh.
Who's going to be the breakout player of the NFL draft? Who broke out last year? Was it? I guess for us it was DK Metcalf, right? By the way, I asked DK's dad to come on today. He's like, no, you guys don't want to hear me talk. I got too much syrup in my throat. I didn't know what that means. But he's saying that he's kind of overweight, so he's got like extra. But he was drafted. DK's dad, Terrence, was drafted by the Chicago Bears when I played there. So anyway, DK Metcalf. But who's going to be the breakout?
I gotta go with my boy Brendan Fehoko. He was a Tongan kid out of LSU. I think he started a couple games, but he was mainly a backup. He went undrafted in this year's draft, but I think this guy, he got picked up by the Chargers. I think this guy's going to make a run for it and give a lot of those guys a run for the money.
There was an edge rusher from Utah who comes from a long line of athletes. I forgot his name. He's a Samoan kid. Hawaiian, maybe?
That's Utah, full of Samoans. Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? Tongans?
Not at all. Breakout player, that's tough though. I mean, I don't know if speaking of Samoa, I don't know if our man Tua is going to get the chance. Depending on how healthy he is, he looks good, and they wouldn't have taken him in the 5th overall spot if he wasn't. But everything that Joe Burrows has done, man, I don't know. It's oddly reminiscent of a guy that we're very familiar with in Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Transfers, okay. Now, obviously, the skill set's not the same. Russell's a little more athletic than this guy, but makes all the throws just like Russ. He's actually a lot more composed in the pocket than people give him credit for. Makes plays outside of the pocket like Russ. But the similarity I want to point to most is he transferred from Ohio State to LSU, and he had to earn the trust and the love and respect of all his teammates to become a leader and lead them to national championship and also win the Heisman. So
that's right. He's a winner.
You can't overlook that. And that confidence, it resonates, man. And he got all his boys to believe too, and they had a great team. I think they're one of the first to ever have a player at every position drafted in one draft. I think that's what I read earlier today. They had a person at every position drafted. So
wow, he did land in Cincinnati though, so goodness knows everything. Anything can happen.
I think he's gonna be. I don't think it matters. There's some guys I don't think it matters where they go. I just think he's got that it factor. I don't think it mattered where Russell Wilson went.
That's true.
He's gonna find a way.
Yeah.
Okay, so our draft grade we were given by ESPN and Bleacher Report is a C-. Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna disagree and agree at the same time. So here's the beauty of what Pete and John do. Yeah, you hear me? I'm good. I'm good.
Are you saying, are you a politician or what?
Because I'm straddling right now.
I agree and disagree.
Oh, for T. Holla. No. I mean, because I don't think that the Seahawks go out and get the sexy pick per se. The guy that that everybody jumping off the draft board for every team, for all the quote unquote experts. But I think they go out and get what they need to fill their roles, and they find a way to make it work, regardless of what anybody thinks. Like every single year, we sit back and look at this draft class and say, "Hey, they're a C-, a C+, or and they turn out to be extraordinarily good players because of the system that they have here in Seattle." Like if I looked at the list of the last since they've been here, the second round draft picks, and a lot of people weren't necessarily hyped up about the guys that picked up in the second and third round. and just look at what those guys have done. You're talking about Bobby Wagner, second-round draft pick. Last year, DK Metcalf, second-round draft pick. I think that kid's upside. Well, Lofa was a second-round draft pick, right?
Frank Clark.
We had Paul Richardson, Frank Clark, Jaron Reed, all these Golden Tate.
Golden Tate.
In the second round.
Was Lockett second or third round?
I think he might have been third. He wasn't
third. Yeah.
But my point is this: they're not always the sexiest picks that the Seahawks get, but they turn out to be productive players that end up having really good NFL careers.
Right.
I would vote for you.
Thank you.
You get mine, T. Holla. You get mine too. And I gotta say, T. Holla was a beast too when he was a freshman. When he was young, man, T. Holla was a beast.
He's still a beast.
That's the was.
I'm wearing an Elsa dress with some traps.
You should see his calves though.
Yeah, all right, boys. Thanks a lot for joining us today on the Angel of the Winds Arena. Anybody have anything they want to get out before we get off? Thank you, Elysian, for sponsoring us today. Zone In, go get your
sponsored
CBD.
by Zone In CBD. No.
Zone In. Hey, Zone In works for me.
I need to hit you up, Lofa.
Zone In's been working
ain't
for
feeling
me.
right.
I got. Show me the address. I got all of you.
Lofa has the Zone In. I have Dakota too, but it's not CBD. It's actually the cannabis transdermal muscle cream relief topicals. But you know, got to get Dakota too.
Okay. Want to say thank you to Elysian for sponsoring us today. We had a great time. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah,
Joe,
we got a case.
Oh yeah, Wayne, you didn't get the case
Of Elysian for you.
Whoa! Come on, dude. Elysian? You talking about that space dust?
Space dust.
Bro, come on! You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that.
I'm gonna have Larissa stop by and hit a set. She's gonna get a set in there with you, and she's gonna drop off some.
She said yes. She said
yes. Okay, that's all I got. Everybody, appreciate you watching, and until next time, my friends.
Much love, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thanks.
Good to see you guys. All right now.